Girl, you stank. You smell like something dying and rotting. You smell dirty and soiled and polluted. You smell like the cologne worn by 1,000 different men who you tried to love but ain't had no love for you. You smell like the bullshit they spoon-fed you to keep you submissive and bound. You smell like the lies they told. Like a basin of vacant declarations of I'll change and I'll do better and I'll get help and I'll stop and I'll quit and I promise and this time's different and I didn't mean it and I'm sorry and I've changed and I need you and I love you. You smell like you believed them. And you only believed them because you remember smelling the liquor on your father's breath when he told your mother he loved her and then tried to kill her. You only believed them because the emptiness in your mother's eyes reflected the pits of your belly and the economic well that fed your daddy's addiction and the smell of hatred. You only believed them because you smelled your brother's lust as he came on top of you and you learned to look for that smell. You thought it was the smell of burning pressing combs tearing through strands of your hair and burning your scalp and branding you with, "You're not good enough." You thought it was the smell of sticky lip glosses and sweet-smelling fragrances. You thought it was the smell of new shoes and leather on purses and the metallic aroma of jewels you couldn't afford. You thought it was the smell of greasy cheeseburgers and sweltering fries and the smell of hot, oily foods that clung to your body and clogged your arteries. You smell like you tried to change it. Like nobody told you that big is beautiful and that you're gorgeous in your roundness, but that unhealthiness makes real men weep. You smell like plastic. Like facelifts and liposuction and breast augmentations and nose reshaping and tummy tucks and lip enhancements and Botox. You smell like you woke up in the morning and still didn't feel good enough. You smell bitter. Like your imperfections and lack of self-love fueled an acidic and pungent cattiness that labeled you a bitch. A label that ignites a fire in you and makes you want to jump on the next woman who you have the nerve to deem a hoe, but embodies the characteristics reflective of you. You smell frustrated. Like when he came, you didn't. And he rolled over and fell asleep expecting breakfast in the morning, and when the batteries of your vibrator died, you started to smell like experimentation. Like when guys did you wrong, you turned to girls, and when you were ridiculed for being with women, you turned back to men and their habits. You smell like the smoke from weed sticks, the chap on crack lips, like opium, meth, LSD, ecstasy, PCP, and shrooms. You smell dependent. You smell like the piss from alleyways where you traded yourself for $10 in a cheeseburger, like cheap. Like all your self-value and worth has dwindled down to the line of coke beating high onto your brain the way I beat words onto white parchment, and the pain is the same. You smell like rubber from Trojans you didn't use, like rubber from gloves worn by death dealers masquerading as medical assistants to perform abortions for free for lost little girls like you who have babies fathered by men like me. You smell like operating tables and delivery rooms as wave after wave of contraction sends your dependent fetus tearing from your womb like tune in a sea of blood, brokenness, and crack. Your baby is hooked more than umbilically. And you have never smelled formula, wet wipes, and dirty diapers, and that sweet-smelling newborn smell because they snatched that baby from your arms so fast you don't even know what color your baby's eyes are. You smelled a system that pimps out infants to orphanages where cycles repeat themselves, where newborns crave crack before breast milk, where infants grow to children who are forced to question their very existence. You smell like metal bars that bind your body and hold hostage your spirit, like an amalgamation of letters and numbers. C75-483. Like you don't have a name, like you are the blur of what once was a woman, now a jumpsuit in a sea of orange jumpsuits with silver accents, a blur of who used to be women like you. You smell lost. Like in your unfocused state, you smelled gunpowder, you smelled friction, and you smelled bullets tearing from chambers, shredding through flesh, your flesh, and therefore my flesh. You smell like the frozen meat aisle at the local grocery store because you are sitting in a freezer in a morgue as we try to figure out who you were. Girl, you smell like death. And I know you were exposed to smells at ages that you shouldn't have ever had to smell, but girl, you better get some air freshener or a Glade plug-in and change that smell of your life. You better burn some incense and burn away that which has marred your spirit and seared your body. Girl, you need to wash. Wash off that brokenness that clings to you like leeches cling to warm bodies in cold lakes. You better bathe in the Holy Spirit. Cleanse that defilement that has encased the real you, the true who in you. You know to be true. Your body is beautiful, sanctified, extraordinary, and you need to care for it like the temple it is. I have the audacity to say, women, you stink. And your smell represents the condition of you. You are decomposing and decaying and becoming putrid representations of who you used to be. You used to be queens. But you are dying. Yes, you. Because even if even if your children are being raised correctly in a middle class suburbia and they're all by the same dad, created in holy matrimony, and y'all live in a middle class area and your kids are planning to go to the same prestigious college as you that you earned your doctoral degree from, and you love your thickness and natural hair and you don't need makeup to make you feel pretty, and you wish you would let a man do you wrong, and you wish you would press a blunt to those pretty lips, and you ain't need no damn plastic surgery, and you wash your ass twice a day, douche and all, sniff the air. There is a woman in your vicinity who stinks, and thus you do, and thus I do, because if it wasn't for a woman who carried me for 9 months in her womb, I wouldn't be here. I have the gall and the gumption to say that I love you enough to keep it real. And I'm proud because I know women possess a quality that men struggle with. They listen. So I know next time I see you, you will have begun to wash the filth that has besmirched your royal substance. And men, quiet as kept, y'all almost let me forget, but Stank Part 2 is all about you. Stank. By Dwight Sanders.